match and search strategy as exact, for example, then we will only be able to use exact column for matching the data. And if we use fuzzy, in that case, I will be able to use both. I can use some columns as a fuzzy columns and some columns as exact column for matching the data. So usually for the lookup tables or the static tables, we don't need any matching as such. So we can just leave it like exact. But for all the business tables, we usually select fuzzy, because I know that, for example, address table, for the address table I need like address line 1, address line 2, 3, 4. If I have these columns, I need them as a fuzzy column, because I know that there might be some variations in the data, and like country code, state code, zip, these will be like an exact column. So I need to use both, a combination of fuzzy as well as exact columns. So first, today we'll be looking into the exact part, that if we select exact, then there are some properties which are associated with it, and that can be used also if we have selected fuzzy. So these are the steps for the exact matching. Select the match and search strategy as exact. So we have to go to the match properties page, and from there I need to select match and search strategy as exact. Then defining the match columns. Then based on what columns I need to do the matching. Create at least one match rule set. Once the match columns are defined, then we have to create a rule set. And under the rule set, we need to define the columns, like based on what columns I want to do the matching. So these are the steps for the exact matches. So the exact match column, as we know, like it does not allow any variations in the data content, so the data has to be exactly same, and record will match only if they have identical values in the columns used in the match rules. If the columns are exactly as it is, it will take into consideration like uppercase, lowercase, everything while matching the data. And if the data is exactly same between two rows, then only it will be considered as a match. Similarly, the next is like match rules. Match rules are basically grouped into match rule sets. We can define like multiple rule set, but at a time only one rule set is active. And usually in the real time also we define only one rule set, but sometimes like for testing purpose we have like created one rule set, but we feel that somehow the records are not getting matched correctly. So for that reason, instead of touching the main rule set, I will rule, which is exactly as it is. I have created the main one, and then I will make some changes. I will remove some columns, add some columns based on the requirement, and try to test the data. So just for that reason, we might create multiple rule set, but usually like in the real time we have only one rule set. So even if we create multiple, only one rule is active at a time. Active in the sense like whenever we go and run the match rules, whatever is the active or the default rule set, that basically gets applied automatically. So that we'll see like how it happens. So for example, we'll go to the MDM. So here we have already selected like in the properties page, like match and search strategy is exact. After that, we have to go to the columns. Under the columns, I need to add the columns, like what are the columns based on which I want to match the data. So for example, we have to click on this add button, and it will give all the column names. So we can select the columns, like for example first name, and after selecting the column we need to give the name, like field name adds ex underscore. Ex is usually just a convention to denote that this is the exact column. So ex underscore we can give first name, and here I have selected only one column. If it is required, I can select multiple columns also. It's not like only one column has to be there. We can select multiple columns if we know that I'm going to use first name and the last name always together. In this case, I will, instead of first name, I can say ex underscore customer name, and I will select first name and the last name column. So both can be selected. One column or more than one column can be selected. So once we click on the OK button, here it will show that we have the ex underscore first name is the name of the rule, or the field name basically, and it is an exact column, and the source table is customer. And on the down we can see that first name is a selected column. So later also, if you want, you can add a column or you can remove the columns, but name we cannot change. So for example, I have given here ex underscore first underscore name. So like while creating the name, for example, I have given in small letters. So now I want like F to be in capital letters or N to be in capital letter. The first invert, I want that in an invert case. In that case, it doesn't allow me to change the field name. So if we have to follow some convention and we have not followed it, we can delete this and recreate it back again. So we'll add some more columns here. So like this, I need to add all the columns, whatever the columns I know that I'm going to use for the matching purpose, I will add it here. Probably you can say like first name and the last name, we cannot use the exact column, that's correct. We cannot use first name and the last name column as an exact column. These are always a fuzzy column because we know that there will be differences in the data, but this is just for testing the exact part. We are using it like this, just to show you the exact scenarios how it works. So once we have created like all the columns, that these are the only columns using which I want to match the data, then I will go to the match rule sets. In the match rule set, I will create a match rule set. Here, once you come, so it will be blank here. I will click on this add button and give a name to rule set. For example, like this main rule set. So this is the main rule that I am going to use. So because this is my first rule set, you can see that there is a default button which is coming. So this makes it as a default rule set. And if I create one more rule set here, I can create multiple here. And say test rule. So like this, I can create multiple rule set, and any one of them I can say that this is my default. I can just click on this button, which will make this as a default rule set. So usually we create only one rule set, but as I told, like sometimes for testing purpose, means I have created a main rule set and there is some problem, some data is not getting matched properly. So instead of touching this, I will create one more rule set as a test rule set, similar to the main rule set, and then I will add some columns or remove some columns, do some changes and try to test the data again and see if the records are getting matched correctly or not. And if it is fine, then I will move my changes into the main one. So once we have added this rule set, now we have to come here and click on this add button. Using this button, we are going to add the columns. We are saying that based on what columns I want to match the data. So here, for example, first name and the last name, I want to match based on the first name and the last name column. So I've selected both of them and click on OK. Similarly, again I will click on this add button, and this time I will select like name generation. I just want to match based on a single column, which is name generation. So I have created two rules here. One is based on this first name and the last name, and the second is based on the name generation column. So now let us go to the PPT again. So like this I can create multiple rules. Like I just created two rules. One is based on first name and last name, and second on name generation. So rule is basically 1 and 2. These are an OR condition. So MDM will process the rules in order. So it will first process the first rule, and if any record matches on rule 1, those records will not get processed on rule 2. So these rules are an OR condition. First it will apply the rule 1. If the some records gets matched, those records will not participate again in the match process. So now with the rule 2, it will match the remaining records. So rules are an OR condition, whereas columns are an AND condition. So this is just to explain the AND or OR condition between the rules and the columns. So columns are basically AND condition, like we have used first name and last name column together. So if both the first name and the last name matches, then only it is considered as a match. If just one of them, like the first name, is getting matched, then it will not be considered as a match. So here like we have two rules, rule 1 and rule 2. So first it will try to match based on rule 1. If any record is not matched on rule 1, then it will match on rule 2. And even if, for example, you can say on rule 2 also it doesn't matches, then there is no match for that record. So two rules are present here, and now with the next, after the rule, there is an option of auto. So auto is no here. So we have discussed this like in the initial part, basically in the introduction part, that when we run the match process, during the merge we have two options. Either we can go for auto merge, or we can say I want to merge manually. So this is auto is no. Auto no means it is for manual consolidation. Means when I go and run the match process, it will put the data into the match table, and then it will be assigned to the data stewards or the business analyst for review. So they will review the data and they will merge the data manually. But if you say that no, I want to do an auto merge, in that case, on the right hand side here you can see up and down arrows buttons are there. So if you just make this change, you can see auto is yes now. So rule 1 is an auto rule, rule 2 is a manual rule. So like this I can make any rule as auto or manual. So this auto is usually like we will do based on lot of testing, when we are 100% sure that all the records which are getting matched on these two are accurate. As of now it will be accurate only because this is an exact match, so we don't have to bother much about this. But if we have first name and the last name as a fuzzy column, in that case we have to think that whether it is matching correctly or not. So when we are 100% sure that yes, it is always matching correctly on whatever records we have tested, we will go and make this as an auto, so that once MDM matches the records, it automatically merges the record. But when we are not sure, we will just leave it as manual, so that once the records are matched, based on the workflow, MDM will create a task and assign it to the business analyst or the data steward, so that they can manually look into it and merge the records. Similarly, there are some other options which are available. So that we will discuss now. You can move here. So with the exact columns, like whatever columns I am selecting as an exact column, with those exact columns we have some properties which are defined. The first property is null matches null. So as you all know, like in the Oracle side, if you try to match two null values, it is never the same. Two nulls are always different. If you try to match two null values, it will always show that it is a different value. But in MDM sense, if I want to match two null values, I know that there are two null values and it will always be different, but I want to match it. Why? Because suppose we can take a scenario where I am taking three columns, first name, middle name and last name column, for matching the records. Now like most of the people don't have like middle name will be null for lot of people. So in this case, if MDM matches, like MDM found a match for the first name and the last name, that first name and last name for two records are exactly matching, but middle name is null. If middle name is null, it will be considered as a different record. So that we don't want. We want that it's fine if if first name and the last name is matching and middle name is null, that record should be considered as a matched record. So if you have some scenarios like that, we can select this option, null matches null option. So if you just see about this scenario, like we have these records. For these 5 records are there, 4 records, where we have customer name and the generation. So suppose like the customer name is a fuzzy column which we have taken and generation is an exact column. So once you run the match process, as of now just consider all the customers are duplicate. So MDM can match all these customers if we put that at a table level. So in this case, let us see like what will happen if we just go and run the normal match. So in this case, if we run the normal match process, in this case only 500 will match with 560. Why? Because 500 and 560 have the names are matching, and also in the generation column GR is matching. So once we run the normal match process, only these two records will get matched. So next what we will do is we will enable null matches null for generation column. So null matches null we have enabled now for the generation column. In this case, what will happen is 500 will match with 560 because that is obvious, both are matching records. So it will also match in this scenario. But now, because I have said that null matches null means two nulls are same. If two nulls are same, then the customer name is also same. In this case, 550 will get matched with 570. So this record is getting matched. Previously it was not getting matched. But now, when we have selected this option, 550 is getting matched with 570. So this is, sometimes we need to use this scenario like I just explained about the middle name, because middle name is usually null for most of the people. So if you are trying, we have two options. Either you don't include the middle name in your matching, just use first name and the last name for matching. But if you have selected middle name also as a matching, then you will have to use this option null matches null, because I know that if there are two customer records where first name and last name is matching and middle name will be null for them, MDM will not consider them as a match. But because of this option null matches null, it will allow to match the records. So that's the first option, null matches null. Similarly, the second option that we have is and the second we can say null matches non-null. That's the second option we can select. Again, this is for generation. So now, for example, if for the generation column we have selected this option as null matches non-null. So in this case, again we will have the same thing, like 500 will match with 560. So that is obvious because the data is matching for them. Now this will get applied, the second null matches non-null. So you can see null is basically present for 550 and 570. These two are the null values for generation. So null matches non-null, what we'll do, we'll take like 550. 550 will get matched with 500 and 560. And here you can say 560. Because the names are already matching, names are matching for all the names are matching, but this is just based on the generation column. So we have selected this property that null matches non-null. Null value will match with a non-null value. So if we select this property, null value is getting matched, 500 is getting matched with 500 and 560. Similarly, 570 will get matched with same 500 and 560. Any questions on this? Null matches null or null matches non-null?
How is that 550 matching 500? So it can, not null, right?
Sorry, which one?
The second one, 550 equal to 500 and 560.
Okay. Yeah.
550 is what?
Yeah, 550 is having a null value.
Okay.
So null will match with non-null values. Now non-null values are like 500 and 560. So that is why it is matching with.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so here and 550 and 570 are not match because both are having nulls for generation.
Yeah, 500 and 570 are not, because these are two are having null values and two nulls are always different. So that is why it is not matching. 500 and 570 are not matching with each other.
550 and 570.
Yeah, correct. 550 and 570 are not matching. That is because we have selected this option, null matches non-null. So previous option that we had selected was null matches null. In that case, 550 and 570 was matching with each other. But now we have selected like null matches non-null. Null will match with only non-null values. So two nulls will never match. Now. So that's just the reverse one. Previously two nulls were matching and now like it's the normal one that two nulls will not match with each other. But null value will match with a non-null value. Is it clear or any question is there? . Similarly, the next option that is provided for the exact columns is non-equal matching. So non-equal matching is again like if, for example, here for the CRM flag, we have given like non-equal matching. Non-equal matching in the sense that if the values are similar enough, it should not get matched. So again, like for example, here we consider like customer name is a my fuzzy column and CRM flag is an exact column. So all the customer names are matching, and now based on the CRM flag, it has to match the data. So on the down, if you come down, you see here the same scenarios. Null equals to y is a match, null equals to null is a match, and y equals to y is not a match. So null and null are again matching here. Why? Because two nulls are always different and it will always match different records. Similarly, null and y is different, so that is why it will match them. So whatever is not matching means that is a match. That's basically, this is the third option here, which is non-equal matching. So we'll take this order, like we'll start with 500. So 500 is having a null value in the CRM flag. So it will match with non-equal matching. So whatever is not similar enough, it will match. So basically it will match with everyone. It will match with 500 plus 560 plus 570. It will match with all of them. Similarly, 550. This is having a value as y. So 550 and 560 will not match with each other because they both have y in the CRM flag. So 550 will match with 500 and 570. Similarly, 560 will match with 500 and 570. And 570 will match with again all of them. 500 plus 560 plus 570. Sorry, 550. So that is basically non-equal matching, where the records are similar enough, we don't want to match those records, only non-equal records I want to match.
When will get the situation to use like this?
This now, but in case we have something like this where we don't want to match similar records, similar type of record, we can use this option.
Here, why can't we match 550 with 500?
550 with
500.
Yeah, 550 is 550 is matching with 500 here. You see, because 550 is having a null y value, so y will match with 500 and 570 because they both have null values.
Yeah, in the
that
above,
that I put here. This one 550 is matching with 500 and 570.
Oh, I'm asking about the 500. In the 500 above, you didn't mention 550.
Okay. 500. Okay, sorry. Here, this is 550. 500 will match with 550, 560, and 570.
Okay.
And the last one is like a segment matching. Segment matching is also like mostly used when we are following a party model. So see, as of now, whatever we have according to our model is called as a customer model. In the customer model, we have everything different. Like if the company is dealing with, for example, customer data, organization data, product data like this, or policy data. In the customer model, we have a table for everything. I will have a customer based object. I will have an organization based object, product based object, policy based object. Like this, I will have a separate base objects. But if we are following a party model, in that case, I will have only one table, party. And in one table itself, I will store everything. I will say store customer data, organization data, everything will be stored in the same table. So that is called as a party model. So this segment matching is usually used in those scenarios when we are dealing with a party model. So for example, if we just see this scenario, then we'll discuss that also. Like here we have customer type as org and customer type as ind. And we have customer name and the CRM flag. This is same like what we have seen in the previous slide. So now using a segment matching, we can say that I want to match only segment type equals to org. So if we specify that, it will only pick all the org records and it will match them. It will not touch the ind records. Similarly, if you give like customer type equals to ind, it will take all the ind records and it will match them. So this is used in those scenarios because if once we are following a party model, in that case, we have everything in a single table. I will have a customer data also. I will have product, organization, everything in a single table. So when I am creating a rule, I know that I am creating this rule for the person or the customer data where I am using first name, middle name, last name column. So I will use a segment matching where I will say segment type matches equals to customer or person. When I am creating a rule for organization, I know that I am giving organization ID, organization details, all these columns I am using. In that case, I will say customer type equals to organization. So in those cases, segment matches is mostly used when we are following the party model, because we want to match only specific subset of data, not all the data. Because that is correct also. If I have a customer data, why I will match it with organization data or product data? Customer has to be matched with only customer, organization with organization itself. So that is the reason why this segment matching is used. So we'll see now some examples. We'll run the jobs and see like all the scenarios one by one. So we'll go back to MDM and I'll just, and yeah, one more thing, like where do we get all these options? So that option we get whenever you click on this add button. So here you notice like all these columns are there. Non-equal matching, null matches, null matches, non-null, segment matching. So this is disabled because I have not selected any column. Once I select a column, this will get enabled. So for example, I have already created a rule. So we'll just go to that rule, edit it, select a column, and then you can see the options will be coming. So we will load some data and we will not select anything. We will leave this as a default so that we can see like which records are getting matched without selecting any property. Then we will go and select the other options and see like how the records is matching. So as of now, I will just create one rule. I will just remove one. So only one rule is there based on the first name and the last name. Okay, so this is the landing table here. So in the landing table, we'll keep like, because this is we are testing the exact matches. So we'll keep all the first name and the last name as similar with some differences in the data. So we will have all the first name here and then the last name. So first is that we'll remove the last name for two of them, because we want to match the data based on these two, first name and the last name column. So once we run the match process, like I have a match rule based on only first name and the last name, so we expect only these records, these two records to get matched, because the first name is matching, but in the last name we have null values here for two records, and for two records it is exactly similar. Yeah, I have some data in my table, so I will just truncate those data and reload the data back again.
To delete the data, why are you using SOAP like web service, SOAP service?
And that is a SIF call, basically a service integration part. So using the SOAP UI, basically we can fire the APIs. So actually from the MDM side, we don't have any option using which I can truncate the tables. Like going to the backend and truncating the table is not recommended. So because you might say, like for example, customer, as of now it is fine, like you are doing the development part. So if you have to truncate that customer table, you don't have to just truncate a single table. You have like all the 14, 15 tables. If you are truncating, you should truncate all the 14, 15 tables. But only thing is that the sequences doesn't get reset. So sequence value will start with, for example, I have to loaded 10 records and then I truncated all the tables. So when I run it for the next time, the sequence will start with 11. So that's the only problem. So if you want the sequence to be starting with 1 only, then you will have to use this API call to clean the table.
So for every project or thing, all those web services will be set up?
Yeah, these are basically visitor services and they are provided by default.
Oh, okay.
So we can use them. So we'll cover that as a part of the SIP.
Okay.
Okay, so I have loaded 4 records into my base object. Now all the records have come into the base object table. And if we expand that, go to the right hand side, we see that the first name everything is Joe, and for the last name we have night at 2 places and null at 2 records. So now the stage process is done, the load process is done, and the next process that we have to run is the match process. So again, if you go to this batch viewer, you will see match job. So this is also getting created automatically. So you need to select match for customer because I am like running for the customer base object. And now on the right hand side you see like match set. So match set is like default match set. If you click on this drop down, you will see like, see, I have created one main rule set and a test rule set. Two rule set I have created. So because I want to run the default is the main rule set, I don't need to select anything. I can just click on the execute batch. But if you have created a test rule set and you want to run that, no, I want to execute this test one because I have to test something, I will select this and then click on the execute batch. So that is the only advantage of making any rule set as a default rule set, that when you go and run the match job, you don't have to select anything. So it gives like default match set. Whatever is the default one, it will pick that up. So here again we'll come and click on the execute batch. So it shows that matched record as 1 and queued for auto merge. Queued for auto merge, why it is showing? Because I have created this rule first name and which had this first name and the last name column as an auto rule. So now like where we can go and see this data, that we can see in the MTCH table. So MTCH table is again associated with a base object. So if you go to the MTCH table, here you can see row ID object and row ID object matched. So row ID object 1 is matched with 2. So now we can see like what is 1 and 2. We'll go back to the base object, and these are my records 1 and 2. So for these records, we see the first name and the last name are having values. So it has not matched these names, last name which is having null value. So that's a normal matching which it has done, because as we discussed that if we have selected 2 columns, first name and the last name, both of them should match. Then only it will be considered as a match. So now like, and here now one more thing that I want to show you is the consolidation indicator value. See, the consolidation indicator value is 2. 2 means, like we had just discussed, that once you load the data in your base object, the consolidation indicator value is 4. And once you run the match process, at runtime it makes it at 3, so that MDM knows that it is matching these records. And then once the match is done, it changes the consolidation indicator value to 2. So now we have matched the records. Now again, if you say that if I go and try to run the match job again, it will give an error. It will give you that there are no records to match. So if I go back again to the match job and try to execute the job again, so this is the message that you will get. Base object C underscore customer is empty, or there are no records to match. This is because when you run the match process, it needs record with consolidation indicator 4. And I don't have any record with a consolidation indicator 4 because all the records have already participated in the match process. So that's why it will give you this message. So now like what we will do, we have run the normal thing, normal match. Now we'll go back to the base object and change it. Change the rule. So this is my rule. We have only one rule now as of now, and so I'll go to edit match rule, click on the last name and select null matches null. So null matches null option I am selecting so that the other record which is not getting matched, that also will get matched. So this has to be done at a column level. So for the first name I am not doing any changes, only for the last name I am making this null matches null change. So this is an indicator also, like whenever you select null matches null for any column, it will show this symbol, using which you can identify this. Also, like now I am going to save this. So just select, it will give you an option basically while saving the record. This is the option it gives. Would you like to reset the existing matches? Clicking yes will delete all the matches stored in your match table. So that is fine, because what it will do is it will not only delete the data from your match table, but it will also reset the consolidation indicator value for all the records to 4. Because this is what I want. I want it to be reset, means that is when I want the match table to be truncated and the consolidation indicator to be reset. Because what will happen here if you say no, the match table will not be deleted and the consolidation indicator value will be 2 only. So even after making a change, you cannot run a match job. You will have to truncate all your table, reload the data back again, and then you can run the match process. So that I don't want, because every time I don't want to reload the data in my table. So that is fine. I want to truncate my table and set the consolidation indicator value to 4. So this will do that if I click on the yes button. Because we are doing in the development here altogether and we don't want to reset it. In the real time, we will not be doing it like this. But in the development environment, it is fine. Even if everything gets reset to 4, that is fine. Okay, so this is saved. So now if we go and check into the table, we'll go back again to the tables. So here, like, this is before refresh. Before refresh, my consolidation indicator shows as 2. If I come here and do a refresh, see the consolidation indicator is back again to 4. So 4 means now again these records can participate in the match process. And if I go to the MTCH table, that will be empty now. So this is my MTCH table, that's empty. So now again we will go and run the match process. So I don't need to run the stage job and the load job because data is already there in my table. So just I need to run the match process. This time it will not give me any error because I have consolidation indicator 4 in my tables. So it will execute it. So now this time it is showing like matched record is 2. So 2 records are getting matched and that we can go and check again in the tables that which record is getting matched. So previously we had only one record where 1 was matching with 2. Now we have 3 matching with 4. One more thing about the match table. So 3 matching with 4 is basically the null part, because the last name was null for third and fourth record. So now that is also getting matched here. Other thing that about the match table is this one, auto merge indicator. So because my rule is an auto rule, that is why it is putting auto merge indicator as 1. So this means that, see, as of now we are just matching the data, we are not merging the data. So after the match process, there is an auto merge job which has to be run. Auto merge will merge all these records. So how it will merge is, it will come to, whenever you go and run the auto merge job, it will come to the match table. It will see how many records are there with auto merge indicator equals to 1. It will take all these records and it will merge them. But any record where auto merge indicator equals to 0, it will not match them, because those are for manual consolidation by the data stewards or the business analysts. So this is the job. Let me show you, like we have just run the match job. So once the match job is done, here we have an auto merge job. So once we go and run this auto merge job, like merge data into customer, there is the option. If you go and run it, both the records will get merged. And that is based on the rule level, because I might have multiple rules. Some rules might be an auto rule, some rules might be an manual rule. So based on the rule, if a record is matching on an auto rule, it will put 1. If a record is matching on a manual rule, it will put 0 in the tables. And then based on that, whenever we go and run the auto merge job, all the records which has matched on auto rule will get merged, but it will not touch any records where auto merge indicator equals to 0. So then once it is done, MDM will, using the workflow, it will create task and assign that to the data steward so that they can manually review it and they can merge the records. Okay, so we have just yes, still.
Yeah, while executing the job, you have selected default set, right? So if we have some 2 or 3 match rules, so one will be the default. So every time you are executing, we need to select that first time default and second time some test rule set.
No, we don't have to select. Like we will have only one rule set. In the real time, as I told, we will have only one rule set. In one rule set only, I will have all the rules. Whatever number of rules you have 5 rules or 10 rules, everything will be here itself in the main rule set only. This one I will create because I want to do some testing. Probably the records are not getting matched properly. So I don't want to touch the main one. What I will do is I will create a replica of the main rule set. Whatever rules are present here, I will create here also and make some changes and try to run it. Just to see that the records which are not getting matched previously are getting matched correctly or not now. Just for that reason. So we don't need to have multiple rule sets here. One rule set is sufficient.
Okay, even if we create some multiple rule sets, while executing the job, it will be default one, right?
Yeah, it will just pick the default one.
Okay.
So if you want,
consider the rest of.
No, at a time I can run only one. So if you say that I want to run any other, then you can select it from the drop down. So you can come to this match for customer, and if you click on the drop down, you will see all the rules that you have created. And then you can select that, no, I don't want to run the default one, which is the main rule set. I want to run the test rule. So you can select this and then click on the execute batch. So whatever rules are there under that rule set will get executed.
Okay, if we have three times we have to execute, right?
Yeah, if there is, because once you run the data, everything is getting matched. So you cannot run it again. So again means you can reset it. Like I just reset this consolidation indicator value. Like that you can reset it and then you can run it.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay. Because as we saw that once you run the match process, the consolidation indicator changes from 4 to 2. And once I had only 4 records, so all the 4 records got matched. Now when I ran it for the second time, it just gave me a message, warning message or information that customer table is empty or there are no records to match. So if you want to run it for the second rule, you will have to reset this consolidation indicator value. Once you have reset it, then you can run it for the second rule. Or if you want, you can truncate the table fully, reload the data back again, and then try to run on a different rule set.
In that case, that is not helpful, right? If we are truncating the data and
Yes.
running.
Well, that is why I didn't truncate the table. If you have to reset it, because this is just the testing, you want to test like the main rule set, then you want to test the other also. So in that case, you can just come here and you can just make some changes and save it. For example, I'm coming here and again I'm making some changes. For example, this is the main rule set. So just suppose I'm clicking enable filtering and saving it. So just make some changes and then you can revert it back. So once you make a change, it will reset your sequences. So once the consolidation indicator is 4 back again, you can now go to the match process, select your other rule set and run it.
Okay, got it. Thanks, Sunil.
Because for running the match process, you should have records with consolidation indicator 4 in your tables. Then only it will run, otherwise it doesn't run. So now I just made enable filtering on and I'm saving it. Once, so it will, now this option came, it will reset the consolidation indicator to 4. Now once it is done, I will just come back again and disable this enable filtering and save it again. And now I can go and run the rule set because I have saved it, and now in my table, if I go back to my tables again, customer table, I will have that consolidation indicator value as 4 again. So here you can see consolidation indicator 4 is again. So now you can go to the match process, select your other rule set and execute it. Okay, so we'll continue with this exact match. We still have to test some other options, so that we'll be testing tomorrow. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.
Thanks, Sunil. Bye.